Hello everyone, welcome to this section on VLSI design. Myself Dr. Sharmila, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE at Krishna Engineering College. So in this lecture series, today we are going to see the introduction to the delay. So these are the topics I am going to cover in the section, that is introduction, delay definition, and how we are going to estimate the delay with the help of resistance and capacitance. So generally the delay is measured with the help of the resistance and capacitance of the transistor. So we need some simple model to estimate the performance of the system. We are going to measure the performance of the system in terms of signal delay and power dissipation. So you know that the CMOS inverter is a combination of PMOS and NMOS transistor. So each layer in the MOS transistor has both resistance as well as the capacitance. So the resistance and capacitance are the fundamental components to estimate the performance of the system. Okay. So here we are not going to consider the inductance characteristics. So we are going to assume that the inductance characteristics negligible. So delay is measured with the help of only the resistance and capacitance in the MOS transistors. So definition of the delay. So generally the propagation delay is defined as the time required for the input to be propagated to the output. Okay. So that is the time when you are, for example, you just take any gate, AND gate or OR gate. If you are applying some input, means when the time taken by the gate, the input reaches the output, that is the propagation delay. That is how much time it will take the input reaches the output. Okay. So there are different definitions for the delay. So first one is a TPDR, that is rising propagation delay. So we are going to measure this rising propagation delay with respect to input and output. So here the Vin is nothing but the input of the gate, Vout is nothing but the output. Okay. So we know that in a CMOS inverter is act as a NOT gate. When your input is 0 means the output is a maximum, that is 1. When your input is maximum means the output is 0. Okay, that is a minimum value. Okay, so the rising propagation delay is nothing but the time required for the input crosses the 50%. Okay, for example, here the rising propagation means you have to consider the rising edges of your output. This is the rising edges of the output. This is the falling edges of the output. Okay. So from input to the rising output crossing the VDD by 2. VDD is nothing but the voltage which we are applying in the drain terminal. So here the VDD by 2 is nothing but the 50%. Okay. So maximum value here I am considering 1 means the 50% means what? I am considering here the 0.5 value. Okay. So the time required for the input crosses the 50%. Okay. So here the input is crossing at 50% here. Then you have to check the corresponding the time the crossing the 50% output. Okay. So the time, the difference between these 2 points is nothing but here the rising propagation delay. So rising means don't consider the input rising. Okay. You have to consider the output rising time. Okay. So the time between the input and output crosses the 50%. Okay, that is nothing but rising propagation delay. So that is these 2 points. That is the input crosses the 50% and the output crosses the 50%. Okay, so this is the rising propagation delay. Next one is a falling propagation delay. Means falling means what? Maximum to minimum, the output is falling over here, right? So you have to consider the input crosses the 50% here, and the corresponding output, that is in the falling edge, in the falling region, the output crosses the 50. So the time between these 2 points is called as the falling propagation delay. So that is from input to falling output. You are considering the falling edges of output. The time between this 2 points is called as the falling propagation delay. So how we are going to calculate a propagation delay, that is average propagation delay, is you need to take average of rising propagation delay and falling propagation delay, that is TPDR plus TPDF by 2. So next one is the rise time and fall time. So here the rise time is nothing but this is the region of the rise time, that is here the output is crossing, that is there is a transition from point 2 to point A, that is when the output is crossing, that is a region, that is when the output is transition from 20% to 80%, that is called as the rise time. Okay, for the rise time and fall time, we are considering only the output, not the input. But for rising propagation delay, you have to consider both input as well as the output time between, okay, time gap you have to consider. For the rise time, when the output crossing, that is a signal transition from point, that is 20% to 80%, means that region is called as the rise time, that is 20 to 80. Okay. So what is the meaning of fall time is when the output is transition from 80% to 20%. 80% to 20% means there is a falling in the output. Okay, that is the output is reducing. Okay, so 80% to 20% means this gap is called as the fall time. Okay, so next one is the rising contamination time. The rising contamination time is from input to rising output crossing the VDD by 2. VDD by 2 means what? 50% crossing. Okay, so falling contamination time is when the from the input to falling output crossing VDD by 2. So the average means we have to take average between rising contamination time and falling contamination time. So next one is a delay estimation. As I said earlier, we are going to estimate the delay. Delay is represented by the tau. The delay is measured with the help of two parameters, that is nothing but the resistance and capacitance. So these resistance and capacitance are inside the MOS transistor only. So it is also called as the intrinsic delay values, that is intrinsic values. Okay, we are not considering any outside value, resistance and capacitance. The resistance and capacitance property of the MOS transistor we are considering. Okay, so we are going to measure the delay by means of using different method like RC delay model and Elmore delay models and linear logical efforts and all we are going to use to estimate your delay. Okay, so in this unit we will see one by one how we are going to measure the delay with the help of different method. Okay, so main thing is that here we are going to measure the delay with the help of the resistance and capacitance. So use RC delay model to estimate the delay. So C is the total capacitance on the output node. R is nothing but the effective capacitance. Okay, so the propagation time is equal to propagation delay time is equal to R into C. So we are going to characterize the transistor by finding the effective resistance value on the transistor. Okay, so main thing, the delay is estimated with the help of resistance and capacitance. We are not going to use any voltage or current to measure the resistance value because it will give the inaccurate value. Okay, so simply how I can explain is, here we are going to measure the delay with the help of resistance and capacitance. So here I am going to treat transistor as a resistor. Okay, so we have to replace the drain current and voltage with the effective resistance value, that is R is equal to, you know that R is equal to V by I. Okay, so using that is the current and voltage is replaced with the effective resistance value, that is nothing but your R. Okay, so because this current method will give the inaccurate value, so it is good enough to use the RC to predict the delay value. Okay, main thing is we are going to use a R and C to measure the delay in the circuits. So first we are going to see resistance estimation, how we are going to calculate the resistivity of the NMOS transistor or any MOS transistor. Okay, so here the resistance value is given by R is equal to rho by T into L by W. Rho is nothing but the resistivity of the material, the T is the thickness of the material, L and W is nothing but the length and width of the material. Okay, so the resistance of any uniform slab of conducting material is expressed as R is equal to rho by T into L by W. Okay, so this above equation we can write it as we can also write it as R is equal to RS into L by W. Here the RS is nothing but the sheet resistance. So what is the meaning of sheet resistance is, we are going to measure the resistivity of the material, right? Okay, so sheet resistance means the resistance of the layer per unit area. For any material, what is the resistance value per unit area? That is the sheet resistance. So sheet resistance value is not a constant one. it will vary depends upon a different technology. If it is of 5 micrometer or 5 nanometer technology means depends upon what types of technology you are using, the resistance value get vary. Okay. So for example, here you consider a rectangular block material. Here we are going to measure the resistivity of this material. How we are going to measure the resistance of the material? So R is equal to Rs into L by W ohm. Okay. So it depends upon the technology, they mention the resistance value. Okay. So L by W means what? Length and width of the material. T is nothing but the thickness of the material. Okay. So thickness of the material, and rho is nothing but the resistivity of the material. Using this one, we are going to measure the resistivity value. Okay. So next one is how we are going to measure the capacitance of the MOS transistor. You know that the CMOS transistor, it has the 4 terminals such as gate, drain, source and body. That is, body is nothing but we are taking it from the substrate. Okay. So there are 5 capacitance in the CMOS transistor, such as the capacitance between gate and drain, then the capacitance between drain and body, and the capacitance between source and body, the capacitance between gate and source, the capacitance between gate and body. Okay. So totally there are 5 capacitance in the CMOS transistor. Okay. Then another one important thing is generally the resistance value is inversely proportional to the width. If you are increasing the width of the IC means what will happen? Automatically the resistivity of the material is decreased. Okay, because already I gave the formula R is equal to Rs into L by W. Okay, so that means what? The resistance value is inversely proportional to the width. Okay, so the width increases, the resistance value get decreased. If the width decreases, the resistivity of the material get increased. But the capacitance value is directly proportional to the width. Okay, if capacitance increases, the width of the material will width increases, the capacitance value get increases. So this capacitance is very important one to know about the speed of the circuit. Okay, so these are the 5 different capacitance in the CMOS transistor. Okay, so you know already in the unit 1 we saw the MOS capacitor characteristics. There are 3 region in here. MOS characteristics, that is accumulation, depletion and inversion region. So already we discussed about this one in the unit 1. Okay, so you know the structure of the MOS transistor, it has a gate terminal, source, drain as well as the body. Okay, body is nothing but a P substrate. You know what is the meaning of capacitor? So capacitor means what? The 2 plates are separated by a dielectric material. That is nothing but the capacitance. Okay, so here you know that in a MOS transistor or in a CMOS transistor, the gate is taken from the polysilicon layer. Below the polysilicon layer, there is an oxide layer. That oxide layer is act as the dielectrical material, dielectric material, or it act as the insulator. Okay, so here between this gate and the body, there is one dielectric material is there. So that is nothing but it is act as the capacitance. These 2 layer are, that is these 2 plates are separated by a dielectrical material. Similarly, so gate to source, gate to drain, and source to body and drain to body also the capacitance is formed. Okay, totally 5 capacitance is formed. So TOX is nothing but here. The TOX is nothing but the thickness of TOS is nothing but the thickness of the silicon dioxide layer. Okay. So this is a diagrammatic representation of parasitic capacitance of NMOS. As I said earlier, okay, here the capacitance is formed in the MOS transistor. So there are 5 capacitance, that is CGB, that is capacitance between gate and body, capacitance between gate source, capacitance between gate drain, capacitance between source to body, and capacitance between drain to body. That is, it forms one capacitance like a structure, that is, there is 2 plates are separated by a dielectrical medium. So here the CG is nothing but here COAX into A. A is nothing but the area of the material. Okay, the area is nothing but a length and width. Okay, that is nothing but the area. So COX is nothing but a thin oxide capacitance per unit area. So COX is given by KSiO2 epsilon OX by TOX. Okay. So generally the capacitance of MOS transistor is modulated using a 5 capacitor. The overlap between a gate to drain and gate to source is assumed to be 0. So that overlap is nothing but we call it as a parasitic capacitance. See here, here this is the N region. Okay. For example, here you can say it is a NMOS transistor. This is a N region. There is a overlap between the this N well, that is highly doped region, and the gate. Similarly, here also there is a overlap between these two regions. Okay, that is called as the parasitic region. Here they are assuming that overlap of gate over the drain and sources assumed to be the 0. So we are going to calculate the 3 different capacitance only: CGS, CGD, CGB. Okay. So now we are going to measure the total capacitance value. The total capacitance value is measured with the help of the 3 different regions, that is cutoff region, linear region, and saturation region. You know that CGB is nothing but the capacitance between the gate terminal and body substrate. In the body substrate is of the P-type material. For example, if I consider the NMOS transistor, so the total capacitance is given by CGB, CGS plus CGD. Okay, so the TOX is nothing but a thickness of the thin oxide. That is the thickness of this oxide layer. You know that oxide layer is act as the dielectrical material. Okay, so during this cutoff region, okay, during this cutoff region, you are going to measure the CGB, CGS, and CGD. You know that during the cutoff region, what will happen? The value of VGS is less than 0. Okay, if the value of VGS is less than 0 means what will happen? So here there is a no channel is formed between the source to drain. There is no channel is formed. So there is no capacitance is formed between the gate to, that is gate to source and gate to drain. So during the cutoff region, these two values are 0. We are considering that CGB is nothing but in between the gate and the body, there is dielectric material is there. Okay, so the capacitance is formed during that cutoff region. The capacitance, that is CGB, is formed. It is equal to epsilon A divided by TOX. So TOX is nothing but a thickness of the dielectrical area. Okay, epsilon is nothing but the permittivity. A is nothing but the length and width. Okay, here we are considering A is nothing but L into W. L into W is nothing but length. Okay, length and width of the length and width of the material. Okay, so during the cutoff region, there is no channel is formed between source to drain. So CGS and CGD values are 0, 0. There is a capacitance is formed between CGB. Already I explained you about that accumulation method. So you know that in the during the cutoff region, the channel is formed between the gate and P substrate. So its value is epsilon A into A divided by TOX. Okay. Next one is during the linear region. During the linear region means what? Here the VGS value is greater than 0. That is, we are applying the minimum value, that is VGS is greater than VT, means what will happen? Okay, so CGB value is equal to 0. There is a channel is formed between source to drain. Okay, so CGS and CGD is equal to epsilon A TOX into 1 by 2. Why I am putting 1 by 2 here is, so the total gate current is, that is total gate capacitance is equal to CGS plus CGD. So I am considering the 50%, that is 1 by 2 of half of the value for the source and drain. That's why here I wrote 1 by 2 into epsilon A divided by TOX. So this 1 by 2 represent that the total gate capacitance is equal to CGS plus CGD. Okay, so CGS plus CGD means what? The channel is formed between source to drain. So 50% for this CGS, another 50% for the gate to drain. That's why here 1 by 2 epsilon A by TOX, 1 by 2 epsilon A by TOX. Okay. Then during saturation region, you know that during saturation region, what will happen? Same thing only, the CGB is equal to 0. That means here I am applying the higher voltage. Okay. If you are applying the higher voltage, what will happen? Okay. there is a narrow channel is formed between the source to drain. During the linear region, what will happen? The current flow is very high. The channel width is a constant. That is constant channel formed between the source to drain. Okay, when during the saturation region, what will happen? During the saturation region, the narrow region is, the channel is not a constant width. The narrow width is formed between the source to drain. Okay, so due to that one, nearer to this drain region, its value is very, its a channel width is very negligible. So the capacitance between the gate and drain is equal to 0. Okay, so between this gate and source, the capacitance value is 2 by 3 into epsilon A by TOX. That means what? So it is of the 63%. Okay, so we are considering 2 by 3 epsilon A by TOX. When during the saturation region, the channel width is not a constant. The channel width is very narrow. That means, okay, there is a nearer to this drain region, the channel is a negligible one, so its value is 0. But near to the gate to drain region, it has only 66% of the channel only. So that is 2 by 3 into epsilon A by TOX. So the last row is nothing but your total capacitance value. So Cg is equal to epsilon A TOX. Just we have to add all these values, okay, to find your total capacitance. For the linear region, we need to add these two values, means we get epsilon A by TOX, okay. So for the saturation region, we got the value 2 by 3 into epsilon A by TOX, okay. So these are the different, that is based upon a different region, the capacitance value will get changed, okay. So another one important thing is, the main important thing you have to know, what is the meaning of propagation delay. So propagation delay is nothing but the time, the delay, that is a time taken by the input to reach the output, that is a propagation delay, okay. So in this propagation delay, you know the different definition. So generally the delay is estimated with the help of the resistivity and capacitance of the CMOS material, okay, CMOS transistor or MOS transistor material, okay. So we are not going to measure the delay with respect to the voltage or current. We are going to measure with respect to the resistance and capacitance, okay. So in next class, we will see about the different method to measure the delay estimation, okay. So thank you.